Hi, Maša from Slovenia. Thank you for your question. And I can imagine that it's quite challenging in your situation in which you want to be creative and you want to continue with your creative processes and creative work that you are excited about, but somehow it seems that there is some sort of a block, some sort of a wall that you hit. And while you're standing in front of this wall, there is this voice becoming louder and louder in you, saying, come on, wake up, time is ticking, time is running out, you need to produce something. And I guess this voice is really not helping with creativity, because it's like putting more and more pressure on you. So I don't consider myself being a specialist in creative thinking, but I do try to be creative sometimes. Also, so I can, I believe, relate to that. And I can offer a few thoughts. So one thought or one fact that I would like to express first is that we were all, and I'm speaking now as a psychotherapist and psychologist, that we were all heavily conditioned in our childhoods, even if we had like really good parents in terms of loving, compassionate, supportive, and so forth. They were not perfect, and they were doing their work, their jobs, and they were sometimes overwhelmed and tired and so forth, and they were saying things that were not most supportive to us. And then there was schooling system and the secondary socialization and all of that. So we might be having loads of subconscious patterns that are preventing us from being creative, because they are trying to make us safe. And if I'm likable, if I'm meeting expectations of other people, if I'm not sticking my neck out and so forth, then I'm safe. And as Ken Robinson says, if you're not willing to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original or creative, of course, because I'm recoiling into my shell. So, and it's, of course, I could speak now for hours about this subconscious conditioning, but I just want to kind of stop here just to mention them and to say that one thing that I would do, I would either, when you sit down in order to write, or when you at least think, when you just think, maybe now or maybe this afternoon I'll sit down and continue writing, I would pause and try to observe what comes up in me as a result of this intention to continue writing. What are the thoughts? I would be specifically very attentive to the thoughts that go like, I am ... It's kind of a labeling myself, or I am not ... enough, good enough, smart enough, creative enough, or also I would be very attentive to capture the thoughts that have to do something with should. I should, or I should not. Or maybe even life is, the world is not. So I would try to observe these thoughts. And very often, underneath these thoughts, you may find feelings, maybe fear, tension, anxiety, kind of a contraction, and so forth. And underneath, I would search for longings. So there are longings there, maybe for love, for acceptance, for belonging, for predictability, connection, maybe a longing or a need to matter, desire, wish to matter, to have trust that you matter. So anyway, I would explore what comes up in my mind when I want to engage in a creative activity. And then I would work on embracing that, being with it, breathing with it, just because this is nothing else but your heart reaching out in the best way it dares to, reaching out towards some nourishment. So I would really want to attend to my heart and embrace it, and maybe you would need some help, an empathic ear, and so forth. So that's one thing, one kind of a direction of the activity I would want to do. And then I have a few other thoughts that are helpful for me, and maybe it will be for you as well. One is that I would want to, in your case writing, I would want to write for my own joy, for my own enjoyment of the process of writing. I would want to write in order to entertain myself, not in order to please the reader, whoever the reader is going to be. But just for your own. It's like bringing pleasure to yourself. That's the only reason I would want to write. For the joy of activity, for the joy of creativity, for playfulness. So that's the longing I would want to meet by engaging in writing. As you know, I give workshops and retreats and lead this stuff. And long time ago, I was kind of still thinking. I mean, decades ago, I was thinking like, what does audience need? What is the market requesting? What are they? And then I was trying to come up with what would meet the need of other people. And it was in a way nightmare and lots of pressure and not really enjoyable, until I started to actually turn things around and start leading workshops that I would like to attend, or creating, designing and facilitating retreats for my own joy, because I really, really enjoy if retreats is like this. So basically, the more I did that, the more I was, and I'm still, enjoying myself in doing this work. It seems that it also brings lots of joy to the participants. But nevertheless, it's such a difference doing something for my own joy, not in a selfish manner, not that I don't care about others, but I want to be enjoying myself when I am creating. Otherwise, it's like suffering. Okay, and the last bit I want to share is because of this subconscious conditioning that I mentioned before. Very often we will find that we kill our own creative thoughts very much at the root, at the ground level, immediately. So I would want to capture them first. I would want to capture my thoughts, my creative inspirations, my whatever is coming up, and then only then, later on in a week, evaluate them. For me, that means that I use a lot the recording app on my mobile phone, either in the car or on a walk, that I would, or in the evening sitting under the stars, that I would want to, whenever there is a creative thought coming, I want to capture it. I just want to record it. Not when I'm sitting in front of the computer and now trying to be creative, but I just want to capture it. And then every 2 weeks I sit down and I write down all my thoughts that were captured in these voice recordings. And I keep them there, even if while writing them down my thoughts are already going like, yeah, that's not that exceptional. But I want to keep them there and revisit them, maybe in a month or in a year or in 5 years. And very often it turns out that what I didn't find quite that meaningful 2 weeks after I recorded a thought, 2 years after, I can see a deeper layer in it. Anyway, so hopefully that brings some meaning to you.